Hello, APBF volunteers. It's your friendly neighborhood founder, Sarah, here. Thank you so much for taking the time to go over these volunteer meeting notes with me. We are in the throes of our biggest year within this organization yet, and it's only going to get better from here. So thank you for being a part of this awesome, life-saving, stereotype-smashing journey with me. Let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the most important thing in regards to the American Pit Bull Foundation, and that's our mission, which is promoting responsible breed ownership through education, programming, and assistance. This is the core to our foundation, and the purpose behind this is to change stereotypes surrounding pit bull type dogs that are misaligned, misinformed, and by doing so we're able to reduce unnecessary euthanasia, especially in the sheltering system, and additionally cultivate compassionate care. What we're doing is teaching owners to be responsible no matter what type of breed that they own, but we are using the most abandoned, abused, neglected, overbred, overpopulated dog there is to do so. So this is really important. It's very important for all of our volunteers to know and to fully understand what our core mission is within the foundation. We're going to go ahead and do a couple of intros. The first person I want to introduce you to is Tori Johnston, pictured here at our most recent event, our St. Patrick's Day Parade. Tori is our first official APBF intern, and her primary focus is education and the Rescue Me 5K that's coming up this year. Tori also serves as everyone's right-hand man this semester and has been doing an excellent job for us. If you need to get in touch with her for anything, it's tori@apbf.dog. Michelle Haynes is a volunteer and adopter. She is Hemi's mom. Michelle is getting very involved with our outreach program as well as adoption services, which we'll talk about a little bit more. Morgan Hayes. Morgan is a wonderful volunteer who serves as our primary contact for people that reach out to the organization with questions, concerns, comments, feedbacks, and she helps align those people with the right departments if they're interested in adoptions, if they're interested in fostering, if they're interested in getting financial assistance. Morgan helps point those people in the right direction. Morgan has a heavy interest in breed-specific legislation and education as well. The final two on here are Allie and Jeff. Jeff is a UNCC professor. He teaches photography, and Allie is one of his students, and they have come on board with us to help photograph our dogs to get them more exposure with their awesome profile pictures, as well as to photograph our upcoming events. All right, a couple of things to get into. Operation SIDEKICK. I'm sure all of you have heard a lot about this and are wondering what's going on with this program. So the basis behind Operation SIDEKICK is to train and provide rescued service dogs to our veterans and minors that are suffering from PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder. We're kind of in a holding pattern right now simply because we are going through academic classes, we're getting certifications, we are lining up our human liaisons to help work with the clients because now we're bringing in people into the organization aside from just dogs. We are definitely in need of pulling together more fosters that are willing to raise puppies, to socialize puppies, because we're going to be starting with pregnant mamas and mamas that have recently delivered. So we are going to be recruiting and looking for those fosters that can be committed to following the program, which is definitely a bit more in depth than a typical foster program as far as training is concerned, to help these puppies prepare and get ready to train as service dogs. The other thing that we're focused on right now is funding. Typically it takes about $30,000 to train and provide health care, staffing, etc. for service dogs when it comes to post-traumatic stress disorder, some other services as well. The difference is that we are rescuing our dogs versus breeding our dogs, and we are using volunteer and foster time versus staff time. So the purpose behind Operation SIDEKICK is to be able to provide these dogs at a fraction of the cost versus that $30,000 price. The problem is we need the funding to do so as well. So right now we're working on funding, which rolls us into our next topic, which is Seed 20. Seed 20 is a competition in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg area that's put on by Social Venture Partners, and it is a competition amongst nonprofit entrepreneurs that are doing big things within the community. And luckily, we were selected with an applicant pool of 20 people to compete for some funding, specifically for Operation SIDEKICK. We made it into the top 10, and therefore we get to present a 3-minute pitch. I'll be on stage doing this 3-minute pitch on April 11th at Knight's Theater. We're expecting about 1,000 people to be there, and there's a chance for us to win up to $20,000 specifically for Operation Sidekick, which could really get us off the ground. So this is a fantastic opportunity for us. I definitely encourage you to go to the seed20.org website. And if you're able to, please feel free to buy a ticket and attend that April 11th pitch. The other cool thing about this evening at Seed 20, well, the first thing is that we're the only animal-related organization that's going to be presenting that night, which is kind of cool. But also, you'll get to learn about some of the other cool nonprofits within the area and some of the awesome things that they're doing and bringing to the community as well. So the other thing that we're going to be doing Monday, April 1st is I'm bringing Poppy Blue over to Fox News to do a brief intro as to what Seed 20 is and what it means for Operation Sidekick, and talk a little bit about Operation Sidekick and the program and how we intend to really help our veterans that are suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder utilizing rescued dogs. This brings me into the point of where can we have the biggest impact. You'll see at the bottom of the screen. The really cool thing about Operation Sidekick, aside from providing veterans that very much need them assistance dogs, service dogs, we are really changing stereotypes by providing our rescued dogs with jobs that can be viewed by the public as important, as impactful. When people see pit bulls out and about in public that are well trained, that are expressly skilled as service dogs, it has a great impact on that perception, especially in combat to the perception that the media has had in relation to the pit bull breed for so many years. It really makes a big difference. So we're bringing education and awareness just through this program as well as we are the rest of our programs. So exciting stuff. Okay, so on to some APBF program updates for you. Our Helping Hands Fund, which is one of our critical programs within the organization, because this program really helps decrease shelter intake and avoid suffering, euthanasia, and surrender. We help to keep families together by providing financial assistance when they've fallen on hard times but are otherwise a responsible owner or trying to do the right thing and be responsible owners. Some of the things that we provide financial assistance for are emergencies such as bloat, severe heartworm disease or collapse due to heartworm disease, foreign body surgeries, parvovirus, things like this, things that you see pets going into the emergency room for. We also provide Helping Hands Fund for some of our outreach services such as spay-neuter, vaccinations, flea allergy dermatitis, some of those simple things that just require a little additional funds that someone might not be able to provide that would otherwise, unfortunately, lead to the surrendering euthanasia of their pet. This far to date, as in this year, we've already supplied $1,510.83 this year to keep 4 families together. The really cool thing about this is that we aren't just doing this alone. So with our Helping Hands Fund, we often team up with other organizations such as the Humane Society of Charlotte or Charmac Animal Care and Control to provide additional funding or support to families that need it. One such case is Layla. She's currently hanging out at Grand Bar Kennels with us while her family transitions into a new home. They didn't have an intermediate place for her to stay, so we worked with Charmac and we were able to provide that for her as well as a free spay through Charmac Animal Care Control. So this is, again, one of our very important programs, one that we definitely need some more funding for in order to continue helping families, primarily in the Charmac area, though we help families in North Carolina and South Carolina at this time. Our other program to update you on is our Adoption Services Program, which recently Michelle Haynes has taken the reins with. The purpose behind the Adoption Services Program is to be able to basically provide adoptions or a service of adoption to dogs that we are not able to take into APBF, either due to lack of foster space or lack of funds. So these are people that either want to surrender their pet and find a new home for them because of extreme circumstances to where we can't help them work through their problems, or these are people that have rescued an animal on their own, taken them off the street and taken the necessary measures to try to find their true owners and are left with no other terms other than to rehome them. So when we don't have the funding to help and we don't have the foster space to help, we are able to help by providing the adoption service. So the screening process through applications, they are to get the same vet care that our dogs get. They have to be spayed neutered. They have to be microchipped. The difference is that the person that rescues or the person that is sponsoring this is the one that is responsible for the housing and the financial care. Where we're able to provide financial care and housing, we do. If we're able to move them into foster, we do so. If we're able to provide heartworm and flea preventive, we do that as well, but this is a way that we can work with community members to help more dogs that otherwise we would have to unfortunately say no to or defer to another organization. And as you know, the majority of the organizations in the area that take in pit bull type dogs are often filled to the brim as well and end up having to say no also. So this is the way that we don't have to say no. These animals are given everything that our adoptive animals are given. They're able to come to all of the adoption events. They're put on our website for adoption. We promote them. They also get an adoption advocate or a Rat Pack member to help gain exposure. They get the photos with our photographers, and they also get to partake in training as well. So any of the training that the fosters are able to take part in, these people are as well. So it's really an excellent service that we're able to provide to general members of the public to build community responsibility and to help more dogs. There is an article that goes into more detail about this. If you click on the link right here where it says article under resources, this will lead you to our webpage where I've written an article that further explains in detail more about this program. Moving on to rescue. Our rescue team has been amazing. I will tell you that in terms of donation as well as rescue and adoptions, historically our first quarter of the year is usually our slowest, but I am happy to report that we've had 9 adoptions thus far in 2016 already, and we have taken in 13 dogs into the organization, so for not being a rescue organization, that's pretty awesome. We have 4 of those which are adoption services dogs. We've taken in 7 dog fight bust puppies from the partners that we have over at the ASPCA. Those are currently up for adoption. A couple have already been adopted. So that's where some of those have come from. If you have any questions about rescue in particular, adoption, fostering, get in touch with Maria, get in touch with Josh, and they can help you out. On to our Rat Pack, which is our rescue advocate team. So these play a critical role in getting exposure for our adoptables, our dogs that we have currently up for adoption. We are in need of a pack leader, somebody that can kind of lead our Rat Pack team and kind of help them out, give them tips, give them ideas, how to get those dogs out there, get them exposure. One of the big things that our Rat Pack does is communications. They talk with our foster parents and communicate with our foster coordinator, Josh, to help our foster parents get really awesome profile pictures to make them look great on the website, on Pet Finder, on Adopt Me Pet, so they really get noticed. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of pit bulls up for adoption in our area, North Carolina, South Carolina, so we want great profile photos that really stand out and get them noticed. Our Rat Pack helps with that. They help keep fosters in the loop with upcoming events, keep them encouraged, keep them motivated, and they also help to coordinate handlers. So if a foster parent isn't able to bring their dog out to an adoption event, but would still like their dog to participate, they can coordinate with another volunteer to help have a handler pick up the dog, drop off the dog, and coordinate so that that dog is on site and present and has a better chance at finding a forever home. The other piece to our Rat Pack is advocacy, using the adoptable specific hashtag to improve their profiles. So every single one of our dogs, like Ben here, has a hashtag. They all start out with APBF, and then they have adopt to follow, and then the dog's name. So Ben here, for example, has hashtag APBF adopt Ben. Those hashtags pull in those photos that are tagged and they put them directly up onto our website, onto their profile page. So at any given point in time, you can view their actual feed, so their Instagram feed. So they can, adopters or people that are interested can keep up real time with these dogs and see what's going on with them in their daily lives. And it really helps them build a connection with the animals that they're looking to adopt. Gives them an idea of their personality before they even get to meet them, gets them excited about them. So advocacy is huge. We definitely need to use these hashtags and get these dogs as much exposure as we can via social media. Another way that they advocate is to post adoption flyers. There's actually an adoption flyer link directly on our website. If you go to the home page at the bottom left-hand side or on the adoption page, you will find the link for adoption flyers. It's automatically generated and you can print it out right from your own computer, post it at your local Starbucks, in the employee break room, at your local gym, wherever you can. The other way that we help advocate for these dogs, or our Rat Pack helps to advocate, is to share them on social media platforms, your Instagram page, your Facebook page. Make them your Facebook profile just for one day. Typically, our Rat Pack members have anywhere from 1 to 5 dogs at a time, so they'll rotate through these dogs and they'll share them on their social media platforms to help gain them exposure. So again, we're looking for a Rat Pack leader, somebody that can kind of be the glue to hold that team together, keep everybody motivated, gives tips. There will definitely be some coaching involved to help that person. If anyone's interested, please get in touch with me at sarah@apbf.dog. On to our education and school programs. This is one of my favorite things to go over because we are reaching the youth. We're reaching our future. This is really important to how our dogs are cared for in the future. Our primary education program is the Positive Pit Care School Program, which is a high school program we're presenting currently at Myers Park High School. We have 2 classes on Tuesday. One starts at 7:15 a.m. and one starts at 9:30 a.m. Tori, our fabulous intern, is the primary teacher for our 7:15 a.m. class, and I'm the primary teacher for our 9:30 class. And we present an 11-week course that covers everything from disease and prevention to anti-dog fighting to compassionate care to positive activities and so on. We cover everything that we can to help set these students up to be responsible dog owners and excellent community members. We get some really great volunteers out of this program as well. One of the volunteers that we've recently recruited is pictured here with Beyonce. And that's Nolan. She was a part of our St. Patrick's Day parade with her mom, and she has come on board as a volunteer, and so it's been great having her. But we've recruited several volunteers this way, and I think it's great that these high school students get involved at such an early age. The other thing that we're doing is elementary book readings. We have teamed up with Team Kindness, and we are reading JJ the American Street Dog to elementary classes. We have 15 classes so far this year that we're reading to. And when we go into the classes, we read the book, we talk to the students, we give them Q&A. This is grades K through 5. We provide them with a coloring book, our colorable coloring book that Renee, our marketing director, put together for us that they can all take home. And we also supply them with the How to Greet a Dog and What to Avoid booklet that Sophia Yin put out. It's an excellent descriptive of the best ways to approach a dog and how not to approach a dog for children. And it's very easy for them to understand, and we've had a great response from it. So we try to provide every child that we come into contact with during those elementary book readings with these supplies. We definitely are in need of school supplies. We need the funds to continue bringing in the How to Greet a Dog booklets. They're not free, unfortunately. And to print off the colorable coloring books that we've created to continue handing out to all of the students when we go into the classrooms. So we definitely need some funding for supplies. The other thing that we need are educators. We need people to come in during the daytime to be able to help do some of the elementary school book readings as well as teach some of the coursework with the Positive Pit Care School Program. Coaching and training is definitely available, so don't be afraid. If you like to hang out with high school students or elementary students, get in touch with me and we'll hook you up. We'll teach you what to do and how to do it. This is a really, really rewarding program. It's really fun to see these students open up, get involved, ask questions, and it's amazing to see what they can learn in one semester. So let me know if you want to get involved. The other thing I want to mention too is if your kids are involved in Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, summer camps, or anything like that, feel free to let us know if you want us to get involved. Come do a presentation. We've done these before, and we're happy to do them at any given point in time for your own personal kids as well. Okay, so we're going to take a peek at our event overview. We have the first one coming up is Pet Palooza on April 9th. We do need some volunteers for this. You've probably already seen an email in your inbox from our lovely volunteer coordinator, Shannon Mullis. We have a couple of shifts. Pet Palooza is the event each year that the Humane Society of Charlotte puts on to raise funds for the animals within their organization. Humane Society of Charlotte is a strong partner with the American Pit Bull Foundation. We love these guys. They do some fabulous things within the community, and we've had a great relationship with them for some time, and we definitely want to support them in this annual event. So we have a booth here every year. We come out. It's a great time. We meet a lot of people. We get some great donations, and we've really had some great connections from this in the past. They do Frisbee dogs. They do a 5K walk. They do a couple of other things, but it's a good time. So if you can help out at Pet Palooza, please get in touch with Shannon, and she'll get you signed up. The Belk charity sale is coming up. The date for the sale is on April 23rd. We have 200 tickets. Those are $5 coupon tickets that people can use at Belk. We get 100% of the profits, so every single $5 coupon that's given, Belk will give us $5 for, and they'll let that person use that $5 coupon at a Belk store. The really cool thing about this is that we've had an anonymous donor step forward that if we sell all 200 of these $5 tickets with the Belk charity sale, they will match the proceeds that we bring in, which is an extra $1,000 for us. So that's really fantastic news. I encourage you all to be a part of this charity sale. Brianna, our kennel liaison, is heading this up. Her email address is brianna@apbf.dog. She can give you more information about the Belk charity sale if you're interested in helping out with that. Bark in the Park is coming up. This is an annual event as well that we participate in every year. Super canine friendly. All of the rescue organizations within the Charlotte area typically participate in this. They usually have fun activities out there like dock diving, frisbee dogs. Every breed you can potentially imagine is usually participating out at Bark in the Park, so it's even fun to go out and people watch. But it is an affiliate event. We'll also have a booth out there. We'll be presenting our educational materials. We'll have merchandise up for sale. We will be promoting our other events such as the Rescue Me 5K and some of our educational programs. So this is another fun one to really get involved in. So if you have interest in participating with Bark in the Park, you can see Shannon. We'll also be sending out a volunteer survey that you can actually just check off some of these items that you're interested in participating with as well. We'll go over that in a minute. The Charlotte Pet Expo, another affiliate annual event, has pulled in some celebrities in the past, like Shorty Rossi, who's been out at our summer concert benefit. He likes to attend the Pet Expo sometimes. This is done on May 14th. And is an all-day affair, usually a 2-day all-day affair where they have costume contests, other types of pet contests. But again, it's another way for us to get out there to the public, express what we're doing within the organization, get some education out there, get some of our adoptable dogs noticed, talk about some of our upcoming events, recruit volunteers. It's excellent exposure. VegFest. I love this one. It's awesome. This is the vegan and vegetarian festival that happens in Charlotte annually. The awesome thing about this is that there really aren't that many rescue organizations or animal organizations that are currently participating. So the cool thing about it is it's not just another pet event. Our dogs get a lot of exposure, a lot of attention out there because they're some of the only ones out there. It's growing in popularity, but it's definitely great exposure for our dogs. They tend to be the center of attention here, and that's what we're looking for. So if you want to help out with that, again, get in touch with Shannon or check it off on the volunteer form that we'll talk about here in a little bit. Next up, the Harley raffle. I am really excited about this because this is the biggest raffle we have ever done. We are raffling off a Harley this year. We had one that was donated to us, and we are going to also donate $2,500 worth of cash in addition to the bike to cover any expenses that the winner may incur in regards to taxes, tags, and title. So $2,500 in cash and this bike, which is a pretty phenomenal deal. Tickets are $20 a piece. We are selling them through the website rallyup.com, which I'll show you guys in just a few minutes. You can create teams to sell these with, or you can sell them as individuals. We're giving them out to volunteers in sets of 25 each. One set is 25 tickets. Each ticket is on sale for $20 a piece. So you can team up with some other APBF people. You can team up with a spouse. You can sell them individually. But we have a lot of really great incentives that we're giving out to some of our top sellers. And to some of those people that reach those different levels as far as fundraising is concerned. We're capping this at 2,500 tickets, and that means that the odds are really better for people to win. So we have the potential to bring in $50,000 with this raffle. This could be really, really big for us. It will benefit Operation SIDEKICK, which means it's going to benefit a lot of dogs that we could potentially bring in for this as well. So I'd like to get all of you engaged with the Harley raffle. You can sell these at work, you can sell them to friends, to family members, but the other thing that you can do too is try to recruit other people on your team. So if you know a brother that can sell tickets at work, if your mom wants to sell tickets to her bridge club, to anyone that you know that you could also branch out to hand a stack of tickets to sell would be really beneficial. So you don't have to do it all on your own. You might not be the most outgoing person. You might not want to sell tickets, but if you know other people that do, it's a great way for you to win some of the cool prizes that we have to offer and to really help out a great cause with Operation SIDEKICK. So there'll be more information to follow in regards to the Harley raffle. Our Spay Neuter Initiative, which is the SpayGhetti dinner, our event focused on Spay Neuter Initiative, I should say, is on July 16th. This is going to be at Wild Wings Cafe. And what we're doing with this event is we're raising funds to provide free spays and neuters to pit bulls in North and South Carolina, primarily the Charmac region, but it can be in North Carolina or South Carolina. These are to underprivileged families that simply have fallen on hard times, similar situations to what we went over in regards to the Helping Hands Fund. So we're raising money to help provide spays and neuters for people that otherwise couldn't afford it. We're trying to really crack down on the overpopulation problem by avoiding those oops litters that happen and continue to add to the growing population and add to the euthanasia rate. Our friends with Humane Society of Charlotte are going to help us out with this one, and then we're going to work together to try to apply for a grant to get some matching funding so that whatever we bring in during that SpayGhetti dinner event, they're hoping that they can match for us so we can provide twice as many spay neuter vouchers to the community as we would have on our own otherwise. So another reason to absolutely love the Humane Society of Charlotte and our partnership that we have with them. On to our biggest event of the year, the Rescue Me 5K, which is scheduled officially for October 15th. We really need to pull in some team members for this. This, again, is our biggest event of the year. We had an awesome turnout for our inaugural year. We had 450 runners. We had 167 dogs. We had vendors. We had nothing but positive feedback in regards to this event from last year, and we're doing it again this year, and we're expecting to double everything this year. Things are looking really good. We've got our sponsorship packages together. We have combined sponsorship packages for the 5K as well as the other events that are listed here as well. And Jennifer Andraco is going to be our rescue director again for this year. So if you have any interest in joining the Rescue Me 5K team, she has positions everywhere from logistics to sponsorships and fundraising to day of volunteer time. So whether you have an hour a week to give or 5 hours a week to give, whatever you have, if you want to be a part of that team, she's going to be your direct contact. There is a spot to sign up for this on the volunteer form, the survey sheet that we're going to go over here later on down in this presentation, that you can check off if you're interested in that, and that will go directly to Jennifer as well. So you can let her know that you're interested in helping out. We need all hands on deck for this one. It's huge. It also benefits Operation SIDEKICK. So this is going to help us really put some dogs into the hands of some of our veterans that are suffering from PTSD and really need this. This is huge. We had so much fun doing it last year, and it's going to be twice as much fun this year. The other event that we have coming up is the Mega 500. This was a huge success for us last year. We adopted out 13 dogs within that weekend, and I cannot thank the volunteers that showed up and made this happen enough. We ran this like a well-oiled machine. Huge props to Maria and Josh for really putting this together well. We had volunteers on site that were taking in applications, that had their cars ready to go to do interactions, home visits. It was an amazing event, and I think it's going to be another really successful event for us again this year. The date for that is still to be determined. The Partnership for Pets, the coalition of rescue organizations within Charlotte, is still working out some of the kinks and deciding on a date and location. As soon as I have that information, I will pass that on to you guys as well. These events are key because this is really what gets us in front of the public, and it represents our dogs, it represents our mission, and this is how we get it out there. So we need all hands on deck this year. We've got a lot of really fun events. Anything you want to be a part of, let us know. Let's get you involved. All right, so the sign-up sheet that I mentioned, this is where you're going to find that. We need you. We have some serious volunteer needs, especially for the events, but also for some of our other programs. On the main website, the APBF page, you will see at the bottom left-hand side a link for this 2016 volunteer sign-up form. Click on that link. It's going to take you to what you see right here. You're going to fill in your name, your email, and then you're going to click through this and you'll see volunteer needs, some of the things that we have listed that we really could use your assistance with this year, that you can make a difference with. All of the events that we mentioned are listed here, so any of the events you're interested in, you can check off. The other thing that we need help with is our sponsorship team. So I mentioned before that we're doing sponsorship packages this year. We are offering businesses the opportunity at a discounted rate to sponsor all of our events, or they can sponsor individual events. It's up to them, but there is a discount for people to sponsor an entire package of events. So we've kind of put some cool sponsorship ideas together this year. We need some enthusiastic, outgoing people that like to get out there, they like to network, be a part of the community, and to help with our sponsorship team. So to bring in sponsors for our main events for this year. If you have interest in this, please get in touch with me. You can mark this off on the volunteer sign-up form, and that'll come directly to me as well there. And we will get you started. We'll get you on board. We'll coach you through it, let you know what we need, but we definitely need to add some people to that team. It's really going to make a difference to our success with these big events this year. Our other need is the Rat Pack. We need advocates for our adoptable animals. We need you guys to make these dogs shine, get them into great homes, and be a part of that rescue team's success. So if you're interested in being an advocate for our adoptable dogs, click that off on the volunteer sign-up form and we'll give you more information. We are working on the latest volunteer handbook. We have a couple of updates to make, so as soon as those are complete, that'll come directly to your inbox. We're going to be recording some video segments to make that 50-page handbook a little bit easier to get through, but just be on the lookout for that. You'll get a physical copy in your inbox soon. We do also have some APBF board member openings coming up. We have an open position currently for a secretary, and then we'll have a couple of other board seats open towards the end of this year as well. If you have any interest in serving on the board for APBF, please send your inquiries to Nick. And I do apologize, the email address that is at the bottom of this screen is actually incorrect. Please send it to nick@apbf.dog. Again, the address is nick@apbf.dog. All right, couple things briefly. This is in your volunteer handbook as well, but since we have so many events coming up, this is really, really important. A little bit on etiquette at events and out in public and handling with dog handling. The important thing to understand is that presentation is everything. Our table, our area, our volunteers, our dogs, all of it needs to be very presentable, neat, clean, and organized at all times. If the papers get messed up, if things are out of order, it looks disorderly and that makes us look disorderly. So we want to keep everything nice and neat and clean and organized on our table at all times. Always keep an open path to the table. So whatever volunteers are on site, dogs are on site, be sure not to block it. Leave an open path at all times so people feel comfortable walking all the way up to the table, checking out what's there. The most important conversation is the conversation with the guest. If you are having a conversation with another volunteer and someone walks up, no matter what you're talking about or what you're doing, please halt the conversation just to talk with the guest, make them feel comfortable, see if there's any questions you can answer. It's really important overall that we let them understand that they are the most important thing in front of us at that time and that their conversation is the most important. This is how we get our information out there. So again, just remember that the most important conversation we're having is the conversation with the guest. They come first. Everyone who approaches leaves with something. Anyone that comes to the table should always walk away with something if we can get something in their hands, whether it's a brochure, whether it's a business card, whether it's a flyer, whether it's just our puppy socialization statement, something that they can walk away with so they don't forget about us when they leave. When they get home and they have that piece of paper, they have that card, hopefully they take the next step and they look us up. They find us on Facebook, they take a look at the website, but they don't leave empty-handed. So anyone that you chat with or anyone that walks up to the table, try to encourage them to take something with them. Our donation jar should be attractive and clearly visible. You want it to be aesthetically pleasing but very noticeable. And again, not blocked, so very clear on the table. We'll usually line the donation jar with a $5 bill, a couple of dollars, to encourage people to put money in there for us. And again, we just want to keep that open, clear, attractive, and clearly visible. Please think of your volunteer shirt as your uniform. Please wear it with pride and use the clocked-in behavior, the mentality, when you're representing APBF in your volunteer t-shirt. This is like wearing scrubs at a hospital or your uniform at whatever position it is that you work in whatever capacity that you work for. With APBF, your volunteer t-shirt is your uniform, so please use it as such. Please refrain from any profane language. We have a lot of events in which families are present, and we want to remain professional at all given times. If you want to be a part of the event that is happening and your shift is over, we ask that you change out of your volunteer t-shirt before participating in the other event activities. Please be punctual. Give a 15-minute buffer for arrival times to events. This gives you time to get to the table, get an idea as to what's going on, and to report in with those volunteers that are there and may be leaving, and just have plenty of time in the event that there's something that needs to be discussed before you actually start working and start communicating with the public. And of course, it allows for things like traffic. Usually at our events, there's a lot of traffic coming in and out of different parking lots, so give yourself a 15-minute buffer at least for arrival times. Take breaks away from the APBF table. This includes eating, drinking, sitting. We should always be up and ready to engage with the public when we're at our table. So if you want to take a quick break, just walk away from the table, let someone know that you're leaving, make sure somebody else is there to cover, and just walk away for a few minutes, take a quick breather, get something to eat, get a snack, get a drink, and then come on back. I want to cover retractable leashes briefly. We do not allow retractable leashes, but it's not our retractable leashes that you have to be concerned with. Often at some of these public events or even at PetSmart, Petco, you'll notice that people are walking their animals on retractable leashes. It is very, very difficult for people to actually control their dogs on leashes. So just if you see someone walking in with one, be very apparent and aware of where our dogs are at all times so that there is no confrontation and no nose to nose for those owners that are walking their dogs on retractable leashes. They've been known to break, they've been known to snap, and it's very difficult for an owner to reel their dog back in a situation where there's some concern for danger, be it in a parking lot, be it with another dog. So just be on the lookout for retractable leashes coming and going. Prong collars. Our dogs are not to be on prong collars at events. The reason I say this is that if a dog is currently in need of use of a prong collar, it is not event ready. So any dog that is not event ready should not be at an event. If it's uncontrollable, if you simply cannot control it on leash, it's not ready to be in public. It's not going to get good attention, it's not going to get positive press, and that's what we need our dogs to project because we want them to find great loving homes, and if they're on a prong collar or if they're uncontrollable, that's not the type of attention that they're going to get. So just be aware of that. If they're still needing additional tools, they need more practice before coming out to public events. Look for signs of stress with your dog if you're handling a dog at an event, or even if you're not, just be aware of the signs of stress. If they're hypervigilant, if their tail is tucked, if they're heavily or excessively panting, if they're backing away, if they're barking. Barking is a huge sign of stress. Please be aware if your dog starts barking that they're trying to tell you something and they need to be removed from the situation. One of the things that you can do if they're showing these signs is just to immediately turn and walk away. Get them out of the situation that's stressing them. Please remember that public events are not normal events for dogs. It's strange smells, it's a whole lot of other animals, it's a lot of strangers and people and strange noises. This isn't everyday activity for them. So it's common for dogs to be at a higher level of stress at these public events than they typically are at the foster home or at smaller events or during play dates or during training. So learn to look for these signs of stress and please respond to them. If your dog is barking, shaking, excessively panting, the tail is tucked, make them feel comfortable. Remove them from the situation, walk them around, get them a drink of water, pull them away from the other dogs, the other situations, and slowly bring them back. If their stress level starts to spike again, back them up to the point where they're not stressed, and then slowly work them in. If we need to practice in other public areas, such as PetSmart or Petco on an off day where there's not many people, we need to start there. But if we push them to their limits of stress, they're going to respond even more heavily and with higher levels of stress at each event thereafter. Dogs should not be nose to nose at public events. Again, these are events, these are situations that we're putting these dogs into that are not normal. They're high stress, they're high intensity, so they don't react the same way that they would in a normal environment. They're more likely to react out of fear. So we just try to avoid that situation altogether and set them up for the best success that we can. These aren't play dates, they're in work mode as well. So dogs should not be nose to nose at any public events. This isn't a place to do interactions to see if my dog is friendly with your dog. We do these things off-site from events. We schedule these, so if someone is interested in bringing their dog up to greet one of our dogs to see if they'll be friendly with one another and might make a great adoption match, we'll set them up with a time to do that in a neutral area where there aren't so many stressors surrounding them. Some Facebook etiquette for our APBF closed foster and volunteer page. What Facebook is for this closed page and what it is not, just to give you guys a good idea. Facebook is for sharing photos of your own personal pit bulls. We love to see those. Sharing photos of your foster pit bulls. These are to share with the group, but also so that we can use on social media. So we can put them up on Instagram. We can get your foster dog more exposure via Facebook. We can use their pictures for different promotional materials or wherever we can just to get them more exposure. We want to share educational materials that we come across. If you come across any really great articles that you want to put up there to the rest of the group, this is a great space to do that. And it's a great place to get to know your fellow volunteers, get to know your fellow foster parents. This is often an entertaining space amongst fosters and volunteers, so feel free to say hey and jump in and get involved in the conversation. A couple of things that Facebook is not for as far as our closed page go is asking for money. That could be for your dog, for another dog with another rescue, or for any other cause in general. We ask a lot of our volunteers, a lot of our foster parents, and the one thing that we don't want to do in this closed space is ask for money. We also don't want to cross-post. One of the things that come across our inbox on a daily basis are those urgent messages of animals that are in shelters. I mentioned before, we lose 3 to 4 million animals every year in the United States, and we lose 3,000 pit bulls a day in shelters. We know that there's a need for rescue. We're doing the best that we can. If you have a rescue request or you want us to cross-post something, I ask that you not put it on the Facebook page, that you get in touch with Maria, with Josh, or myself, and we can put that cross-post or that request in the appropriate space. If we can help, we absolutely will help, but we don't want to increase the level of exposure or requests that our fosters and volunteers are getting by putting that in this space. That's for a different space. Mudslinging. We definitely don't want to hear any negativity in regards to other organizations. We don't know what they're working with. We don't know what some of the problems or the challenges that they're facing could be. We want to support other organizations. We want to support other people. So please refrain from bashing people. That could be uneducated owners, irresponsible owners. Again, we're out to help. Our mission is to help change stereotypes by education. So our main goal is to change how some of these people are treating their dogs. So we shouldn't be bashing them. We should be helping them. Same with the other organizations. We want to pair up. We want to partner up with these other organizations, and we want to help one another. So please refrain from any bashing or mudslinging on the Facebook page. Medical advice is also another point here that I want to make. If you need medical advice, you need to contact a veterinary hospital. Feel free to email me with questions. We have a couple of veterinary technicians that can help field some basic questions, but we will not recommend that you start your dog on any medication without seeing a veterinarian or changing diets. We won't recommend changing or starting any even over-the-counter medications. This is important. It's actually illegal for us to do so. So if you have a question as to whether you should call your veterinarian or not, we're happy to field those questions. You can email us directly, but our Facebook page is not the space for medical advice. Veterinary professionals are the space for that medical advice, and so I urge you to call your veterinarian. They're usually happy to answer questions. They're not going to make you come in and have an exam just to answer a question. If you're concerned about something, please call your veterinarian and ask them about that. All right, we got a couple of really cool volunteer and foster workshops coming up. One of those is canine handling. That's going to be put on by Dana Brigman, who's our lead trainer. She's also our lead trainer with Operation SIDEKICK, but she's APBF's lead trainer. Feel free to lean on her if you need some advice. She is in our space with the APBF closed foster and volunteer page. Feel free to reach out to her if you have any questions. She'll help you out. But she's going to be leading our canine handling workshop on April 24th. We're going to be going over some basic and some advanced handling skills, as well as dog body language, what we talked about with stress before at events, learning to recognize some of those stress signals and how to deal with those. And we're going to go over some basic handling skills. This is a really good class for basic dog owners, for any volunteers that want to handle dogs, and especially for foster parents as well. So if you're interested in that, there'll be some more information to follow up. I encourage you to sign up for that. It's a great educational piece for anyone. Even if you don't have a dog to handle, you can come, listen, learn, and participate. I'm going to be teaching a K911 class on July 24th. This is just to learn basic life-saving skills that any dog owner can utilize in the event of an emergency. Some of the things that I'll cover is going to be administering CPR for your pet in the event that you need to. We'll talk about heat stroke, especially with summer. Drowning, what to do about drowning, some of the toxins that are common, what to avoid and what to do in the event that your pet comes into contact with those. We'll talk about bloat, some of the basic traumas that we see, and snake bites, since we have plenty of copperheads and a couple of rattlers in this state. So we're going to go over just some basic emergency stuff that you can learn as pet owners, as fosters, as volunteers to potentially help save the life of your personal dog or your foster dog in the event some of these situations occur. Quick note on branding and promotional materials. We have developed a brand with APBF. We are recognizable, and it's very important that we continue to build on that brand recognition, because brand recognition really promotes trust, and trust leads to a better public learning experience. If they see us, if they recognize us by our colors, by our format, by our professionalism, they're going to learn to trust us, and so they're more likely to take in that information that we're putting out there, simply because we're recognizable, because we are building a rapport with them, and that's something that they will lean on. We want to build those relationships, and one way that we can build those relationships is through branding. So just to give you a heads up too, our marketing director, who has been hard at work this year getting our promotional materials ready for all of our events that are coming up, as well as our sponsorship packages, is Renee Fielder. Her email address, if you need to get in touch, is renee@apbf.dog. At the bottom here of the page, you can see that. There's a link to it there, too, if you want to directly email her. It's important to know that everything that goes out to the public as far as promotional materials are concerned, be it just a simple graphic that goes up on Facebook or a promotional flyer, everything for every event, every fundraiser, all goes through Renee. So if you have some ideas or things that you want to put together, please send those to her. If it's for an event, for a fundraiser, she'll field that. She'll help you with that. She's really been very impactful as far as helping to build the APBF brand. So get in touch with her if you have any questions about marketing or promo materials, and she can help you out from there. It is important to note, too, we actually have, if you have any questions about our branding guidelines, a branding page. The website is apbf.dog/brand-guidelines, and that will pull this page up here that you see a screenshot of. You can get an idea of exactly what colors that we use within our logos, the different types of logos, because we don't want our logos altered. We want them used as is. So if you have any questions about those are right there. You can download the logos directly off of this page, as well as the fonts that we use. You can download those directly off this webpage as well. That's about it. That wraps it up. Thank you guys so very much for hanging with me and getting through this. Don't forget to take the volunteer survey. I'm going to email that out to you as well. There's a link in this email actually that you can click on, but also if you forget about it, if you go to the main website page, apbf.dog, on the bottom left-hand side, you'll find a link. Just click on that link. Let us know what you're interested in participating in this year, and we will get you hooked up with the right committee lead and get you started. Feel free to get in touch with any questions. There's a spot on that volunteer survey as well to leave your feedback. Any questions, comments, concern, and again, my email address is sarah@apbf.dog. And again, thank you so very much for everything that you do.